Have you ever felt a stirring deep within your heart? An undeniable sense that you've been entrusted with something extraordinary, something sacred? These are not ordinary insights or fleeting moments of clarity. They are divine revelations, treasures meant to guide your steps and shield your destiny. Yet, with great blessing comes great responsibility. What if the key to fulfilling your purpose lies not in what you share, but in what you protect? What if the most powerful act of faith is not in speaking, but in remaining silent, guarding the secrets God has placed within you? This journey is not for the faint of heart. It's a path that requires discernment, trust, and unwavering focus. As you embark on this exploration of sacred truths, prepare to uncover the spiritual armor that equips you for life's unseen battles. Discover the power of strategic silence and the wisdom of divine timing, drawing lessons from the lives of those who walked this path before you. This is more than a call to reflection, it's a call to action, to guard, to trust, and to walk boldly in the purpose for which you were created. The treasures God has given you are not just gifts, they are the keys to your greatest protection. Are you ready to unlock their full potential? Let's begin. Part 1. Divine Revelations as Sacred Trusts. God entrusts His chosen ones with divine revelations, sacred truths that are unique and deeply personal. These revelations are not merely insights to ponder, but treasures imbued with spiritual power, intended to guide and protect the individuals who receive them. They serve as a beacon, illuminating the path God has laid out for each person's destiny. Such truths are entrusted to those who have been set apart, chosen to fulfill a specific purpose that aligns with God's grand design. These divine messages often come as whispers to the heart, moments of clarity amidst the noise of life. They are a testament to God's intimate relationship with His people, a reminder that He sees, knows, and plans for every step of their journey. Yet, these truths are not to be shared indiscriminately. There is a profound responsibility tied to guarding them. When shared with the wrong people or at the wrong time, these revelations can be misunderstood, dismissed, or even weaponized against the recipient. The act of keeping these revelations sacred is not an indication of distrust toward others, but a recognition of their value and timing. Every sacred truth comes with its appointed moment of revelation. To prematurely unveil these insights risks disrupting the delicate unfolding of God's purpose. The heart, as the Bible reminds us, is the chamber where these promises and visions are stored. Proverbs 4 verse 23 emphasizes the importance of guarding the heart, for from it flows the wellspring of life. In doing so, individuals honor both the gift and the giver, acknowledging the divine wisdom embedded in each revelation. The importance of discretion is seen throughout Scripture. Joseph, for instance, shared his dreams too early, which led to strife and betrayal from those closest to him. Had he held these dreams closer to his heart, his journey might have been less fraught with hardship. This example serves as a powerful reminder that divine revelations require careful stewardship. They are not meant to be flaunted or used to gain approval, but cherished as sacred treasures, nurtured in prayer, and protected with wisdom. Keeping these truths guarded also nurtures a deeper relationship with God. By choosing silence over premature disclosure, believers create a space where God's plans can take root and flourish. This intentional act of preservation demonstrates trust in God's timing, allowing Him to work in ways unseen, shielding the believer from unnecessary challenges and distractions. The quiet nurturing of divine truth strengthens faith and builds spiritual resilience, preparing individuals for the responsibilities that come with their calling. Divine revelations are not ordinary insights. They are spiritual treasures of immense value. The weight of their significance calls for vigilance and discernment. To hold these truths close is an act of obedience and reverence, a declaration of trust in God's perfect plan. As these revelations are nurtured in silence and faith, they grow into powerful testimonies of God's guidance and protection, unfolding at the right time to bring glory to His name. Part 2. Gratitude and spiritual stewardship. Gratitude is a cornerstone of spiritual growth, a response to God's abundant blessings and provision. For those who recognize the sacred truths entrusted to them, gratitude becomes a natural outpouring of their faith, It reflects an understanding that every gift, insight, or revelation is not only a personal blessing, but also a tool for advancing God's greater purpose. This sense of thankfulness deepens the relationship with God, fostering a spirit of stewardship over the blessings He has given. Stewardship goes beyond acknowledging the gifts one has received. It calls for intentional action in using those gifts for God's glory. Each revelation or blessing carries a divine expectation to handle it with care, wisdom, and responsibility. Whether it's a word of encouragement, a moment of clarity, or a resource that enables the spread of God's message, believers are called to manage these gifts with integrity and purpose. Gratitude becomes the fuel that propels this stewardship forward, ensuring that every action aligns with God's will. Supporting the work of spreading God's message is another vital aspect of stewardship. Whether through prayer, encouragement, or tangible contributions, believers play an active role in advancing the kingdom. This partnership with God's mission reflects a heart of gratitude, recognizing that every blessing is an opportunity to contribute to something greater than oneself. The collective efforts of individuals, no matter how small they may seem, create a ripple effect, touching lives and drawing others closer to God. Acknowledging and thanking those who support spiritual work is also an act of humility and grace. It recognizes that the journey of faith is not a solitary endeavor, but one enriched by community. Those who extend their time, resources, or encouragement are living expressions of God's provision. Their actions remind us of His faithfulness and the interconnectedness of His people. Together, they create a network of support that uplifts and sustains the mission of spreading God's light. The role of gratitude in spiritual stewardship cannot be overstated. It shifts the focus from self to God, from personal gain to collective purpose. It invites believers to approach every aspect of their lives with an open heart, ready to give back and to serve. Gratitude transforms even the smallest act into an offering of worship, a way to honor the one who provides all things. In the practice of gratitude and stewardship, believers find joy and purpose. They discover that every gift, whether large or small, holds the potential to impact others and advance God's plan. By faithfully managing these blessings, they become conduits of His love and grace, living out their calling with intention and humility. Stewardship rooted in gratitude not only honors God, but also strengthens the faith of those who embrace it, creating a cycle of blessing that continues to grow and multiply. Part 3. Challenges as spiritual battles. Life's challenges often feel deeply personal, as if they are uniquely designed to test, stretch, or even break us. For those chosen by God, these struggles take on a deeper dimension. They are not random. They are spiritual battles linked directly to the divine purpose placed within each individual. Every obstacle, every setback, is part of a larger narrative, a battle between the calling God has bestowed and the forces seeking to undermine it. There is a spiritual truth that underlies these challenges. God's favor upon His chosen ones often attracts opposition. The unique favor and purpose granted by God can provoke misunderstanding, envy, or resistance from others. This can manifest in strained relationships, lost opportunities, or unexpected hardships. While these moments may be painful and confusing, they are not without purpose. They are a refining fire, shaping the heart, sharpening discernment, and preparing the individual for the greater calling ahead. The key to navigating these challenges lies in understanding their spiritual nature. They are not merely external conflicts, but battles that begin within, battles of trust, faith, and perspective. Believers are called to discern the true nature of their struggles and to approach them with spiritual wisdom. This means recognizing when to fight with faith and when to stand still and let God work. It also means guarding the divine truths and revelations that God has entrusted, understanding that premature disclosure can lead to unnecessary trials. The Bible provides countless examples of such spiritual battles. Consider Joseph, whose dreams of greatness provoked envy and betrayal from his brothers. His journey was marked by suffering and rejection, but every challenge ultimately prepared him for the fulfillment of God's promise. His life serves as a reminder that struggles often precede breakthroughs and that God's plan is never derailed by human actions. These battles are also a call to trust in God's provision and timing. When believers face obstacles, they are invited to lean not on their own understanding but on God's wisdom. This requires faith in His ability to turn challenges into opportunities and opposition into growth. It also demands a willingness to remain silent and patient, trusting that God will reveal His plan in His perfect time. Another layer to these struggles is the necessity of spiritual armor. Ephesians 6 verse 11 urges believers to put on the full armor of God to stand against the devil's schemes. This armor includes truth, righteousness, faith, salvation, and the Word of God. It is both a defense against external attacks and a shield for the sacred truths that God has entrusted. Wearing this armor is not optional for those chosen by God. It is essential for navigating the spiritual battlefield of life. While these battles may seem overwhelming, they are also a profound affirmation of God's purpose. The intensity of the struggle often reflects the significance of the calling. Believers are reminded that their challenges are not in vain. They are a part of God's refining process, preparing them to fulfill their destiny with strength, wisdom, and resilience. Each battle won is a testament to God's faithfulness and a step closer to the fulfillment of His promises. By reframing challenges as spiritual battles, believers gain a new perspective on their struggles. They move from despair to hope, from confusion to clarity, understanding that every trial is an opportunity to grow closer to God and to align more fully with His plan. It is in these battles that faith is forged, trust is deepened, and divine purpose is revealed. Through them, believers not only overcome but also emerge stronger, wiser, and more equipped to walk boldly in their calling. Part 4. The power of sacred silence. Silence, often underestimated, holds profound spiritual power. For those chosen by God, it becomes a shield, a form of protection for the divine truths and callings entrusted to them. Sacred silence is not merely the absence of words. It is an intentional act of guarding what is holy and valuable. It is a response to the wisdom that not every revelation is meant to be shared, especially not prematurely or with the wrong audience. There is a delicate balance between revelation and discretion. Many struggles and conflicts arise not from the truths themselves, but from how and when they are shared. The Bible offers countless reminders of the importance of guarding one's words. Proverbs 21 verse 23 declares, "Whoever keeps his mouth and his tongue keeps himself out of trouble." This verse captures the essence of sacred silence, protecting one's life and purpose by choosing words wisely and understanding the weight they carry. Sacred silence serves as a boundary, creating a safe space for God's plans to take root and grow. When revelations are shared too soon, or with those who lack spiritual maturity, they risk being misunderstood, criticized, or dismissed. Worse still, they may become a source of envy or opposition, drawing unnecessary challenges into the believer's path. Silence, therefore, is not weakness but wisdom, an acknowledgement of the timing and sovereignty of God. This principle is beautifully illustrated in the life of Mary, the mother of Jesus. After the angel Gabriel revealed her divine purpose, she treasured these things in her heart and pondered them in silence. Luke 2 verse 19. Her discretion allowed God's plan to unfold without interference or distraction. Mary's example is a testament to the power of keeping sacred matters close until the appointed time for their revelation. Silence also disarms negativity. In a world that often seeks to challenge or undermine faith, choosing not to engage can be a powerful act of spiritual strength. By withholding words, believers prevent unnecessary debates or conflicts, allowing their actions and faith to speak louder than anything they could say. Silence shifts the focus from external noise to internal alignment with God's will, fostering a deeper sense of peace and clarity. Furthermore, sacred silence amplifies intimacy with God. When believers choose to keep certain revelations between themselves and their Creator, they cultivate a space for deeper connection and trust. This act of discretion honors God, acknowledging that His timing and wisdom are perfect. It is an act of surrender, a way of saying, "Lord, I trust You to guide me and to reveal Your plan in the right moment." Silence also protects against spiritual exhaustion. Sharing too much or too often can drain energy and divert focus from what truly matters. By maintaining silence, believers conserve their strength, allowing God to work in the background. It is a strategic choice that prioritizes spiritual growth over seeking validation or approval from others. Sacred silence is not about withholding love or transparency. It is about stewardship. It is about recognizing that divine revelations are treasures, and treasures require safekeeping. Just as a priceless jewel is stored in a secure vault, so too should the truths God entrusts to His chosen ones be guarded. This does not mean isolation, but rather discernment. Understanding who can be trusted with these sacred matters and who cannot. In practice, sacred silence requires discipline and prayerful discernment. It calls for a constant awareness of one's words and the impact they may have. Before sharing a divine insight or personal revelation, believers are encouraged to pause and seek God's guidance. Will this person understand? Will this moment honor God's timing? These questions help to ensure that silence is not broken carelessly or impulsively. Ultimately, the power of sacred silence lies in its ability to safeguard the divine purpose within. It is a spiritual tool that allows believers to navigate their journeys with wisdom and grace, ensuring that God's plans unfold without interference. In a noisy world, silence becomes a refuge, a space where faith is nurtured and divine treasures are protected. It is an act of reverence and obedience, a way of honoring the God who entrusts His chosen ones with truths that are as precious as they are powerful. Part 5. Lessons from Biblical Examples. The Bible is rich with narratives that illustrate the importance of guarding sacred revelations and exercising discernment in sharing them. These stories serve as timeless reminders that divine truths, when mishandled, can lead to unnecessary trials, while their careful stewardship paves the way for God's plans to unfold. Among these lessons, the accounts of Joseph and Mary stand out as powerful examples of the significance of discretion and timing. Joseph's story is one of dreams and destiny, but also of the consequences of premature disclosure. Gifted with visions of his future greatness, Joseph eagerly shared his dreams with his brothers. Their reaction was not one of encouragement or understanding, but of envy and hostility. This led to betrayal, as his brothers sold him into slavery and attempted to erase his destiny. Yet even through these trials, God's plan for Joseph remained intact, ultimately leading him to a position of power where he could save many lives, including those of his family. Joseph's journey teaches a crucial lesson. While the dreams themselves were divinely inspired, the timing and audience of their revelation mattered deeply. Sharing too soon placed him in unnecessary danger and hardship. If Joseph had pondered these dreams in his heart, allowing God to bring them to fruition in His time, the path might have been less tumultuous. This story underscores the wisdom of guarding divine insights, especially when surrounded by those who may not fully grasp their significance. Mary, the mother of Jesus, offers a contrasting example of discretion and trust in God's timing. When the angel Gabriel announced her miraculous role in God's plan, Mary chose to treasure these revelations in her heart rather than proclaiming them publicly. This act of silence allowed her to focus on her relationship with God and the unfolding of His purpose without interference from external forces. Her story highlights the power of quiet faith and the peace that comes from trusting in God's timing. Both stories align with the guidance found in Proverbs 4 verse 23, which urges believers to guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. The heart is a sacred space where God plants His promises, visions, and truths. Protecting this space is not a matter of fear or distrust, but of honoring the divine work being done within. By guarding their hearts, believers ensure that these revelations remain untainted and ready to bloom when the time is right. The concept of safeguarding sacred truths also echoes in Jesus' teachings. In Matthew 7 verse 6, He warns His followers not to cast your pearls before swine. This metaphor speaks to the importance of discernment, advising believers to avoid sharing precious truths with those who may not appreciate or respect their value. Jesus Himself exemplified this principle, often choosing His words carefully and revealing deeper truths only to those who were ready to receive them. These biblical examples also emphasize the role of silence as a form of spiritual protection. Silence is not just about withholding information. It is an intentional act of reverence and trust in God's wisdom. It creates a space where divine revelations can grow, shielded from misunderstanding, envy, or opposition. This practice requires humility and a willingness to relinquish control, trusting that God's timing is always perfect. Discretion, however, does not mean isolation. It calls for discernment in choosing who to trust with sacred matters. Trusted individuals, those who align with God's purpose and demonstrate spiritual maturity, can provide support and encouragement without compromising the integrity of the revelation. This balance ensures that divine truths are shared only in ways that honor God's plan and advance His kingdom. The lessons from these biblical examples are clear. Divine revelations are treasures that demand careful stewardship. Whether through Joseph's struggles or Mary's quiet faith, believers are reminded of the importance of timing, discretion, and trust in God's sovereignty. By following these principles, they protect the sacred work God is doing within them, allowing His plans to unfold without unnecessary interference. The narratives of Joseph and Mary, along with the wisdom of Proverbs and Jesus' teachings, form a blueprint for navigating the delicate balance of revelation and discretion. They invite believers to reflect on their own lives, asking whether they are guarding their hearts and honoring the sacred truths entrusted to them. These stories encourage a posture of humility, faith, and vigilance, ensuring that God's treasures are preserved and revealed at the appointed time. Through this approach, believers not only protect their divine purpose, but also create an environment where God's glory can shine through in its fullest expression. Part 6. The Armor of God and Strategic Silence. The challenges of life, especially for those chosen by God, require more than human strength to overcome. They demand spiritual tools and strategies, chief among them being the armor of God and the practice of strategic silence. Together, these principles equip believers to navigate the spiritual battles they face while safeguarding the divine truths entrusted to them. The Apostle Paul's exhortation in Ephesians 6 verses 11 to 17 outlines the spiritual armor that every believer is called to wear. This armor is not physical but spiritual, designed to protect against the schemes of the enemy. It includes the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, and feet fitted with the readiness of the gospel of peace. Each piece represents a vital aspect of spiritual strength and defense, ensuring that believers are prepared for the unseen battles of life. Wearing the armor of God is not just a defense mechanism, it is an act of faith and obedience. It represents trust in God's provision and recognition that the struggles believers face are spiritual in nature. The shield of faith, for example, extinguishes the fiery arrows of doubt, fear, and opposition, while the sword of the Spirit, God's Word, serves as a weapon against deception and despair. This armor empowers believers to stand firm, guarding the sacred truths and callings within them. Strategic silence complements the armor of God by serving as an additional layer of protection. It is a practice rooted in wisdom and discernment, allowing believers to shield their divine purpose from unnecessary interference. While the armor defends against external attacks, silence guards against the vulnerability that comes from sharing sacred truths prematurely or with the wrong audience. Silence, when used intentionally, shifts the focus from outward engagement to inward reflection and spiritual alignment. It creates space for God to work behind the scenes, shielding divine plans from envy, criticism, or misunderstanding. By choosing silence, believers exercise restraint and demonstrate trust in God's timing, allowing His purpose to unfold without interruption. The principle of strategic silence is evident throughout Scripture. Jesus Himself often practiced silence, choosing not to respond to accusations or questions when doing so would detract from His mission. In Matthew 27 verses 12 to 14, during His trial before Pilate, Jesus remained silent in the face of false charges. This silence was not weakness but a demonstration of His control, wisdom, and focus on fulfilling God's plan. Silence also serves as a means of disarming negativity. Words, once spoken, can invite unnecessary conflict or distraction. By remaining silent, believers can redirect their energy toward actions that align with their divine purpose. Proverbs 17 verses 27 to 28 owns this wisdom, stating, "The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues." These verses highlight the power of restraint, emphasizing that silence can be a mark of wisdom and strength. In practice, strategic silence involves intentionality. It requires believers to pause and consider the impact of their words before speaking. Questions such as, "Is this the right time to share?" or "Will this person honor and understand what I am about to say?" guide the decision-making process. By discerning the appropriate moments for speech and silence, believers protect the divine treasures within them. Strategic silence is not about avoidance or secrecy, but about stewardship. It honors the sacred nature of God's revelations, recognizing that they are not meant for everyone or every moment. By keeping certain truths between themselves and God, believers nurture their faith and allow His plans to mature in an environment free from external interference. The combination of the armor of God and strategic silence equips believers to navigate the complexities of their spiritual journey with wisdom and resilience. While the armor protects against external forces, silence shields the internal sanctity of their divine calling. Together, they create a powerful defense that enables believers to stand firm, focused, and unwavering in their mission. These practices also build trust in God's sovereignty. By choosing silence and relying on the armor of God, believers acknowledge that their battles belong to the Lord. This surrender fosters peace, allowing them to rest in the assurance that God is in control and His plans cannot be thwarted. Strategic silence and spiritual armor are not signs of passivity but of active faith, empowering believers to navigate life with strength and purpose. In a world that often values noise and quick responses, the discipline of silence and the reliance on God's armor set believers apart. They become a testimony to the wisdom and power of God, demonstrating that true strength lies not in words or actions alone, but in alignment with His will. Through these practices, believers safeguard their divine purpose, ensuring that their journey remains aligned with God's perfect plan. Part 7. Trusting God's plan and staying focused. Trusting in God's plan is foundational for those chosen to carry out His divine purpose. This trust requires unwavering faith, a commitment to focus on His will, and a deliberate choice to avoid distractions that can derail the journey. Staying focused on God's purpose demands not only spiritual discipline, but also the humility to surrender personal desires, trusting that His timing and wisdom are perfect. One of the greatest challenges believers face is the temptation to share prematurely. Divine revelations, dreams, or plans often come with an overwhelming sense of excitement and urgency. Yet, sharing these truths too soon can expose them to criticism, doubt, or envy, potentially weakening the believer's resolve. Discretion is essential to protect what God has entrusted, allowing His work to mature in an environment free from unnecessary interference. Mary's example provides a blueprint for this trust and focus. When she received the revelation of her role as the mother of Jesus, she chose to ponder these things in her heart rather than seek validation or understanding from others. Her silence was an act of faith, a testament to her trust in God's plan. This quiet reverence ensured that she remained aligned with God's will, undistracted by external opinions or pressures. Similarly, Jesus emphasized the value of discretion when He taught His followers to pray in private, saying, "Go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen." Matthew 6 verse 6. This teaching underscores the importance of focusing on one's relationship with God without the distractions of public scrutiny or performance. By keeping certain aspects of their spiritual journey private, believers create space for God to work intimately and profoundly in their lives. Maintaining focus also involves guarding against external distractions. Not everyone in a believer's circle will fully understand or support their divine purpose. Some may unintentionally sow seeds of doubt, while others might deliberately attempt to derail their journey. Recognizing these influences and setting healthy boundaries is critical to staying on the path God has laid out. Prayer is a powerful tool in this process. It provides clarity and guidance, enabling believers to discern who and what aligns with God's purpose. James 1 verse 5 promises, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you." Through prayer, believers can seek God's direction, ensuring that their focus remains fixed on Him rather than on the noise around them. Silence, again, plays a key role in trusting God's plan. By refraining from sharing every thought, dream, or challenge, believers create a sanctuary where God's work can unfold without interference. This practice fosters peace, as it shifts the burden of control from the individual to God. It also strengthens faith, as believers witness the fruits of their trust in His timing and provision. Another critical aspect of staying focused is surrounding oneself with spiritually mature individuals. Not everyone is equipped to handle the weight of divine revelations. Trusted allies, those who demonstrate faithfulness, encouragement, and alignment with God's purpose, provide invaluable support. These relationships offer a safe space for sharing, growth, and mutual accountability, ensuring that the believer's journey remains on track. Staying focused also requires perseverance. The path of faith is rarely straightforward or free of challenges. Trials, delays, and setbacks are inevitable, but they are also opportunities for growth and refinement. By trusting in God's sovereignty, believers can view these obstacles not as deterrents, but as part of His divine process. Each challenge becomes a stepping stone, building resilience and drawing them closer to their ultimate purpose. Finally, gratitude plays a vital role in staying focused. By recognizing and appreciating God's provision in every step of the journey, believers anchor themselves in His faithfulness. Gratitude shifts the perspective from what is lacking to what is present, fostering contentment and trust. It also reinforces the belief that God's plan is unfolding exactly as it should, even when it is not immediately visible. Trusting God's plan and staying focused is not a passive act, but an active engagement with faith, prayer, and discernment. It involves a commitment to silence, a willingness to set boundaries, and the humility to surrender control to God. Through these practices, believers protect their divine purpose, ensuring that it remains unshaken by external forces or internal doubts. By staying focused on God's plan, believers align themselves with His will, creating a life that reflects His glory. This alignment brings peace, purpose, and a deep sense of fulfillment, as it assures them that they are walking in step with the Creator of all things. Trusting in His plan is not only an act of faith, but also a declaration of dependence on the One who knows and sees all, leading His chosen ones toward a destiny that far surpasses their own understanding. The sacred invitation. As you stand at the threshold of this profound truth, remember that your journey is not just about safeguarding divine revelations. It is about embracing the sacred invitation to walk hand in hand with the Creator. Every challenge, every moment of silence, every act of trust draws you closer to the purpose for which you were chosen. This is not a path for the faint of heart, but for those who are willing to surrender to God's perfect timing and infinite wisdom. Now, the question remains, how will you carry these truths forward? Will you nurture them in the quiet sanctuary of your heart, allowing them to grow under God's careful guidance? Or will you release them into the noise of the world, unguarded and exposed? The choice is yours, but the invitation is eternal. As you protect what God has entrusted to you, know this: the Creator who placed these treasures in your heart will also give you the strength to guard them, the wisdom to reveal them at the right time, and the grace to fulfill the calling for which you were made. Let this journey be a testament to your faith, a beacon of hope for others, and a reflection of God's glory in every step you take. The greatest stories are not told with words, but lived in the quiet trust between a soul and its Creator. Live your story well, and let the world see the light of the God who has chosen you.